Hello, you wonderful soul. We live in a time of tremendous acceleration of cosmic ascension energies, which can trigger deep soul processes and confront us with dramatic themes both internally and externally. And on the other hand, they can also help us activate our highest consciousness to delve deeper there. And through that, we can also change the world bit by bit. I will delve into what that specifically means and how you can deal with it here. Exciting topic. Stay tuned. I'm Ralph Riedel. I've followed the shamanic path for almost 20 years, initiated into the traditions of the Incas and the Blackfoot. This video is split into two parts. Firstly, what is your highest level of awareness and how can I attain it? And secondly, how can I incorporate this awareness into life, what it can specifically signify? Let's begin with what consciousness actually means. Conscious and being have two word stems. One's naturally the being, and that also contains no self, so also thereby in the connection no ego. And we will gain awareness of ourselves and then gradually free ourselves from the attachment of the ego as we become more conscious. This means that in order to achieve this consciousness, I must also be willing to temporarily let go of my ego. And it can even happen that a feeling arises that you are dying. I myself have encountered that on multiple occasions. Yes, and then in the next step to immerse oneself in the boundless love and in this light. And it can mean that it is then so strong that everything you believe you are dissolves, and you completely surrender in the trust of love, relinquishing all control. Simply being in love, that is the highest consciousness. So the highest consciousness is pure love, omnipotence and sublimity, connectedness, peace, abundance. In that place, as I always say, where desire ceases and you simply abide in the state of being, you are the creation and you personally experience the creation within yourself. Control, separation, power, struggle, and lack are interconnected with the consciousness of the ego. And our objective is to enhance this ego consciousness gradually and systematically. This means we have an ego, but we are not our ego, and we are allowed to learn to step out of the shell of the ego. Yes, to then gradually detach from the inner critic that resides within us and all the fear-inducing, limiting programs associated with it. And how do we currently achieve this state? There are innumerable ways to do so. I just want to talk about what I have experienced myself, and one method is meditation. I always mention the importance of the connection with the light. The connection with the light, which I also acquired from a master named Michael Omram Ivanov. And that means now quite specifically, in order to truly immerse oneself in this light, that one is then ready in that moment to let go of one's body, of all the attachments, of all the tasks, roles that you take on, that one is indeed ready to leave all that behind in order to then immerse oneself in the highest realms of pure love and pure light, to remind us again of who we truly are and where we come from. Yes, we are immortal light beings full of love and omnipotence who have always been there and will always be there. Now, this is the initial method. The second technique is one that I have acquired, the Vision Quest. When I started the Vision Quest in the Rocky Mountains of Canada, initially I had no idea what I was getting into. Yes, at first I contemplated deeply on my blockages and the visions of life during this Vision Quest, and then transcribed everything into this journal. And with the result that I had the impression that I already had all the answers at the beginning of the Vision Quest, but what happened afterwards I really couldn't plan. It was due to this physical exhaustion that had occurred. I was not allowed to speak or sleep, no food, and traditionally one is not even allowed to drink water. And then gradually the ego begins to dissolve more and more, and in the process really intense processes can occur, such as desperation, various types of fears, and also the impulse, as it was for me personally, to have the desire to escape by screaming. And when one has learned to go through these phases, then I encountered a state in which I resembled an empty container, and I created space for the Great Spirit and the act of bringing something into existence. Yes, and in this state, I was connected with everything. I was everything at once and nothing at the same time. It was beyond description, and I could not envision that prior because I was connected with my ego and its concept of how things could potentially be. Yes, and then there is also a third option of consciousness expanding medicine, which has been utilized for thousands of years in shamanism. And undoubtedly, it is consistently different from tribe to tribe, whether it is the cactus, peyote, San Pedro, or even mushrooms, or predominantly ayahuasca in South America. What happens during such ceremonies is that we can temporarily open a gateway in our consciousness that allows us to let go of everything that clings to us and weighs us down, so we can embark on a journey of healing. And on the other hand, to explore the utmost states of consciousness, so incredibly high that you can't even begin to imagine them, because what occurs there is that they have the ability to liberate us from all of these burdensome emotions, burdensome energies that attach to the ego, to the earthly, and simply do not provide us with the chance to ascend into this utmost consciousness. On one hand, they naturally possess a powerful healing effect, liberating us from the burdensome themes and energies that hinder our transition into love, allowing us to immerse ourselves in the highest level of consciousness when we are prepared. And I have been fortunate to have had different experiences with it, once in Peru, once in Brazil, and in Colombia, in different traditions. And throughout the years, I have also discovered to gradually let go of my fears and ego attachments, and then to fully immerse myself in a state of pure love, pure omnipotence. Yes, initially that was what I was most afraid of, because in order to enter, my ego, which was the fear, would completely dissolve. For the light and the love that were or are so overwhelmingly powerful there, nothing else remains, only the purest form of light and love. And all that, what we believed previously, who we are, what roles we assume in life, or even what I thought previously about what love is, I couldn't imagine, because it is simply so incredibly vast. And it took a considerable number of years to gradually open myself up to this process. And to describe that, it is as intense as if I were explaining to someone what an orgasm is to an individual who has never experienced an orgasm before. So intense and blissful is this feeling. And thereby a door opens in your consciousness where you can temporarily immerse yourself. And through this experience, I understood why this is also the sacred divine medicine that is spread throughout South America and Central America. So, and what does that mean for our daily lives? By accessing our divine self or higher self, we can take on the role of the observer. And then we have the capability to perceive our blockages, our patterns, and the intense emotions from a certain distance. That we currently possess these limitations, but we are not defined solely by them. And you learn to accept yourself in self-love and gentleness just as you are. You are good just as you are and don't have to be anyone other than who you are at this moment, regardless of the process you are in. And I'd like to compare this with an image in this context. Visualize your current situation as if it were clouds gathering, or even as if it were a storm approaching on the horizon. And if you perceive this only from the ego consciousness, that is, from the self-consciousness, then it may well be that you feel more lost and vulnerable. And when you are presently able to connect with the essence and the divine self to ascend higher, then you can rise up and soar far above the clouds to realize that up there, the sun always shines brilliantly and illuminates everything with its radiant light. Yes, even that you yourself are the sun. And then you can much more easily let the passing storms of life just pass by and not identify with them so strongly anymore. And it can create a certain serenity, a confidence, Even if it may be difficult at the moment and these challenges also create problems to overcome, you can do that much, much easier than if you only know the ego perspective. And it is of utmost importance to consistently establish a connection with this light or your higher self on a daily basis, to perceive from an observer role. That is the reason why I specifically give you the start every day in silence and truly connect with your own light again and again, repeatedly and consistently. Even if it's only 5 minutes, you will notice a tremendous difference. And if you're able to go within yourself in silence and begin listening to your soul, then everything will gradually and steadily start to change. Allocate yourself ample time for that. It's all a process where you can't coerce anything, but simply acquire the ability to be at peace with yourself. And perhaps you will also realize that your ego or self-consciousness is not rigid, but that you can reshape it, thus refine it. And thus, the voice of this inner critic, the one that always belittles you and tries to convince you that you are not good enough and wants to keep you in constant fear, becomes quieter and quieter. And the voice of confidence, self-love, inner trust, and inner strength will gradually become louder and more powerful as time goes by. Another thing I also noticed within myself is that over time, my gratitude has grown even greater in magnitude and depth. Appreciative to be embodied here on this exquisite planet and to have the opportunity to partake in these marvelous material experiences. So once again, in case your inner critic starts speaking up, just address him internally, without giving too much importance to his words. It is possible that this sounds like, "Hello, inner critic, now you are once again speaking up. I understand now you're trying to scare me or belittle me again. I won't listen to you anymore. In truth, I am good just the way I am and love myself with all my flaws, because by doing so, I learn at my own pace that you should say such things to yourself more often." And with that, I would like to give you a new image. Imagine that your ego or I consciousness is similar to an actor who temporarily takes on this role. And the positive news is that you have the ability to assume a fresh role in the game of life at any given moment. In a similar manner to the actor, you also necessitate an ample amount of time to adequately prepare for this new role. Whoever you desire to be, what is the thought process of this new role? What are the emotions experienced in this new role? And most importantly, how does this new role function in this new consciousness? And the beauty of it is that you also have the ability to write the script, direct, and even portray the main character. All you have to give yourself is the permission and the step-by-step process to train yourself for this new role in your life. I would like to extend an invitation to you to genuinely inquire within yourself. Who do I truly desire to become without the need to assume any particular identity? So without compromises, without dependencies, and without obligations. And if you currently permit yourself to delve deeper into your heart, to discover your vision, to provide it with more space, yes, then you will also have the ability to feel more and more what you deeply carry in your heart. And then being able to give yourself permission step by step to implement that in life in a very concrete way, step by step. And feel free to take additional time for that, to truly delve deeper into it. You may already have experiences with this, or you might be doing this exercise for the first time. Then please feel free to write in the comments below about the experiences you have had with it. And with that, I want to encourage all individuals viewing this video here that you are not alone, because there are many who embark on this path to follow their heart's desire, their destiny. Yes, those were my impulses on this topic. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to pass it on to others or share it. For more inspiration or insights into my daily routines, follow me on Instagram. Link is down in description. Until next time, see you. Ciao. Bye.